and he's actually wearing 19 for us, and our own third baseman Jake Lamb came in yesterday and said, "Is this dude really going to steal my number? I got to ask him for something in return." So he tweeted that out and got a lot of action last night on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this all starts, Josh, with an idea from Will Ferrell. But it seems like would be a lot of work to coordinate it with all these different baseball teams. Logistically, how do you put something like this together? I mean, I love the fact that Major League Baseball signed off on this, but how did it go from idea to phone call to, hey, let's get the whole league involved and make it happen?
Well, I think all of us recognize that Major League Baseball, one of the things we're trying to do is continue to appeal to a younger audience. And so when he came to us with this idea, all the team presidents, all 10 of them on the conference call were on board immediately. And as you said, it really does. It takes a huge army. There's honestly probably, 10 people in our front office that are focused very heavily on this today, 10 people in all the different ballparks. You've got tons of people flying in from Major League Baseball, from HBO. We've done numerous walkthroughs over the last week or so to actually take everybody through each step that's going to happen and what's the PA announcement going to be and how is he getting from place to place. And, it's a credit to all the people involved that this hopefully will go off without a hitch today by the time it's all said and done.
Now, has he spent a little bit of time actually practicing the various positions? I mean, what do you know about what he's done to actually prep for looking good out on the field?
You know, the rumor has it actually that he was working out at a high school field in L.A. Just to make sure he didn't completely embarrass himself. So that's awesome. But we have heard he's taking it very seriously, and our own manager Chip Hale actually made the comment, "Hey, you know what? We expect major league quality play out of this guy. We're not out here to lose. So we want this guy to get out there and actually, if the ball is hit to him, do something with it." But I think, ultimately, I think he's going to try to have fun with it while still preserving the integrity of the game. I mean, this is a real game where real players are attempting to actually make a major league roster. So we clearly don't want him to make a complete mockery out of it, and I don't think he will. I think he gets that it's all in good fun and for a good cause. But I can't speak to his skill set on the field. I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
By the way, Josh, we are getting viewer questions from some of our fans watching right now, and Jane is asking, she's a huge Diamondback fan, she's asking how the 2015 season looks like for them.
We're really, really excited. I think a lot of the so-called experts are clearly picking us to have a tough season because we came off of a very bad season last year, but clearly with a lot of changes we made, starting at the top with Tony La Russa all the way down through the manager and Chip Hale, and a lot of the new players we have, there's a lot of optimism here. I think everybody's really optimistic in spring training, but we certainly feel like we're going to surprise some people, and it's actually in some cases better that when you come into a season with low expectations, which we have in the past, and we've managed to win the division. I think nobody here is counting themselves out, and I know everybody in the clubhouse believes it's going to be a really good year for the D-backs.
Hey, Josh, we're going to just do a little play-by-play while we've got you on the phone because people around the world are watching us here on YouTube, and they want to know what they're looking at. So Will just started BP. He's doing a little batting practice. I've seen him whiff on a couple. Samia he's going to do the bunt. Okay. Now, as part of playing the 9 positions on the field, I understand he's going to play a 10th position, if you will. At some point, he's also going to be a designated hitter.
Yeah, indeed. We obviously that's going to wind up being for an American League team, though. The HBO is trying to preserve some of the element of surprise, and they're not letting us say where he's going to be at each park. But yeah, he is going to DH. He will get in that bat in one of these games, and as you said, he's going to move around the entire diamond. So he'll play for both us and the Reds at our place before departing and heading west and hopping 2 different positions there. It'll be interesting. As you can imagine, I heard him say this morning on MLB Network that the position he's most worried about is third base, just because of how quick the ball comes down the line. So we're hoping he doesn't hurt himself. I think anything can happen in a major league game. Like I said, these guys, I've had several players make jokes. Hey, let's hope they hit the ball out to him. I'll bet you some of the people at the Reds are going to be trying to hit the ball to him out in the field for us.
Right. And do we know approximately how long Will Ferrell will be at each game?
Well, it's essentially a half inning for each team. So it could wind up being you never know. It could be a 6-run inning, and if the offense stays up for a while, he could be there a lot longer. But he's going to play half an inning or somewhere. In some cases, maybe just an out for a team or 2 outs for a team. But yeah, he will officially appear in each uniform. He'll actually be entered into the game through the PA and into the actual box score, and then in some form or fashion, either be released or traded to the other team before he suits up with the next one.
All right. So, what about people who want to attend today's game? You probably don't know in terms of all the other venues, but are there still tickets available if people want to come out to see him there at your ballpark?
Absolutely. Salt River Fields, we do still have tickets available, and I can't speak to all of them, but generally speaking, on a Thursday, I think there may be limited tickets at some of the ballparks. It is spring break, so it's very popular, and I know our ballpark particularly sells out very quickly. So we do expect that it will sell out, but at the moment, you can still hop on dbacks.com and get tickets or come on down to the box office. Just a reminder to everybody that we did move the game back an hour, so some people may have thought that it was a 1 o'clock game when we first announced it, but we moved our game to 2 o'clock in order to help make this happen for Will Ferrell and HBO.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well,
now,
thank you.
What are you doing in terms of, here's another one of our viewer questions, any plans to...
memorialize his jersey.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Well,
will we get to retire it or what?
I don't know quite. We are still working on Randy Johnson's number 51 that's getting retired later this year, so we might not quite be there with number 19 yet. I guess we have to see what happens in the game.
Maybe.
But he does have some funny bits that I can't give away that do have to do a little bit with that, so we'll let those come out here over the course of the day.
Well, that was one of the things I think people wondered. This has got to be such a smooth and quick operation. Will Ferrell lands, he gets out there, he plays the position, boom, he's on to the next one, but it sounds like he's got a little comedy worked into his appearances as well.
I mean, it's Will Ferrell. Why wouldn't
Yeah,
he?
it is Will Ferrell. You wouldn't expect him to take it too seriously, but yeah, it is a challenge, obviously, trying to fit in some of the funny things that he's looking to do in just the short amount of time he's here, but ultimately being the Diamondbacks and being the local team here, we've been able to utilize some of our connections to help him with things like a police escort or perhaps other ways of getting around the valley that we'll be seeing throughout the day. But I would fully expect that at each spot he's certainly been doing some things that make you laugh, no doubt.
Josh, if you can just hold on for a sec. Here's Will speaking. Hold on.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, we got to get to the outfield.
Keep the ball playing. Thanks, Will.
Well, that was it. He did like a 30-second news conference out there. But I did want to ask you, because you made the point a second ago of, baseball's doing everything they can to appeal to the younger audience, and that's a big part of what we're doing here on YouTube is we do have a pretty young audience that watches us. What are some of the other... So this is a great event that's going to get buzz going for about 24 hours all across the country for baseball. But what are some of the other things that are literally going to be happening this year or else are in the discussion phase that could begin to appeal to that young generation of sports fans?
Well, a couple things. First, you probably heard a lot about the pace of game that Major League Baseball is putting into place, and they're trying to figure out how to slow down or speed up some of the slow parts in the games, whether it's clocks that help you get back from an inning break quicker so that there's not quite as much standing around, or when there's visits to the mound, or keeping your foot in the batter's box rather than walking around so much. So I think just speeding up the game without, again, hurting the integrity of it will certainly help, and that's a Major League Baseball initiative across the board. And then from a Diamondbacks perspective, I think there's going to be a lot of really cool things coming this year. Certainly, we're expecting a lot of new things when it comes to food and merchandise that we'll be announcing in the next couple of weeks at Chase Field that will appeal to a younger audience. And then also even just simple things. I mean, last year we started our Snapchat account, and that's where you're going to find tons and tons. Anybody under the age of 25 at this point is all over Snapchat. So we've hired people who dedicate endless amounts of time to making sure that they're speaking that language, and that's it's those sorts of things, particularly from a social media standpoint. We like to think we do a pretty good job with our various accounts, and hopefully our fans will tell us that if we don't. But those are just some of the things. I mean, it's a huge issue for all of us that we pay a lot of attention to, and whether it's bringing out celebrities or doing these sorts of things, you'll see a lot more of it as time goes on.
Well, I got to say, because Samia is going to be a new Diamondbacks fan, having moved here from L.A., but Josh, over the many years of going to games, I have really tuned into the fact that you have made it more of an event going to the ballpark over time, where there's always something going on in between. I mean, literally every half inning there's something fun going on. I mean, from the minute you sit in your seat, if you're a baseball fan, you get all that great baseball, but at the same time you've kind of made it like an entertainment event on top of it.
You just nailed it, Ron. That's exactly the point. I mean, there are certainly still baseball traditionalists and purists who want to just come and watch 9 innings of baseball, and that's great. I mean, we absolutely want to still cater to them and not take away from their experience. But there are also a large number of people. My kids' attention span is about 40 seconds, so it's making sure that that people, when they come to the game, that they're enjoying it from. And I mean, whether it's the app that we have, the MLB Ballpark app, which gives you all sorts of things you can do at the ballpark, or we've got something called MLB Pre-Play as an app where you can actually kind of predict what's going to happen in the game. And so if you just look around any sort of entertainment venue, like you mentioned, people are on their phones, they're selfieing. There will be a number of different things in the ballpark this year that encourage selfies and encourage sharing things on social media. And it's just recognizing that while the game is the best game in the world and we know people want to sit and watch it, you also have to keep in mind that some people aren't necessarily going to be tuned in 9 straight innings on every single pitch and every single at-bat.
So I don't want to spoil any surprises, but we've had the kiss cam for years, but maybe we'll have the selfie cam this year, huh?
Yeah, I actually think somebody may have actually come up with a selfie cam, and there's actually, we're going to have quite a bit of new things in our in-game entertainment this year, whether it's new music and some pretty much every offseason we go into it and try to make the show, quote unquote show, a little bit different and better. I don't know if we'll have a selfie cam, but I'll have to pass along the idea. That's not bad.
Well, just tell them all it'll take as a hashtag.
Exactly. There you go.
All right, Josh, real quick, we're having a couple more viewer questions come in. They're wondering, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but this is a good question. Jeff is asking, anyone know if Will Ferrell played high school or college ball?
I know he didn't play college ball because he actually went to USC.
He did.
Yeah, he went to USC, and as did Randy Johnson, who I mentioned earlier. We're retiring his number, and I will say that there's a pretty good chance Randy will be somewhere in the ballpark today, in some form or fashion. But they were not there at the same time. So I know they didn't play together. I know that he didn't play at USC. I actually don't know if he played in high school, but certainly it seems like from watching the first pitches he's done and some of the other things, he's got some sort of skill set. At least he's not completely inept when it comes to throwing a baseball or swinging a bat.
Here's a fun Will Ferrell fact. He actually studied sports broadcasting at USC. He really originally wanted to be a sports anchor.
That's awesome. And I've heard other people say that he worked in some capacity in the sports information department, which is kind of what my job is here. So maybe at the end of the day, we'll see if we offer him a position in-house or something.
Well, maybe you should just give him, what is that, a churro dog that you guys are going to be serving this year?
you may have hit on something there. Again, can't give away any secrets, but
I figured it out.
Come up a few times before, so we'll see what happens. It is amazing, though, if you talk about social media and actually you ask about things that we're doing to appeal to an audience, but that was a perfect example where we worked with an ESPN sports business reporter to put this out, and it was trending globally for hours the day that we announced it. And it's taking some of these really cool things, finding the right way to get it out there, and we've had tons of people say, I'm finding a way to get to a Diamondbacks game this year to try a churro dog, and hopefully we get them there for the churro dog, and then we have them convinced that they want to come back because of the entertainment and everything else that we do at the ballpark.
I was getting messages from LA, my friends telling me, like, you need to go, you have to try this churro dog. I'm like, okay, I'll convert.
I mean, people have literally said they're going to make road trips out here, and it's kind of a follow-up to last year when we announced the D-Bat dog, which was the 18-inch corn dog stuffed with cheese and jalapenos wrapped in bacon. And when we announced that, the Diamondbacks were actually playing our opening series in Sydney, Australia, and we were getting people in New Zealand, all throughout Australia, calling for phone interviews about this D-Bat dog, and it is pretty cool to watch. Obviously, what a small world we're in now with the way social media flies. These are kind of global phenomenon, and it's been pretty cool, particularly with the churro dog. I think nobody's really ever done a dessert item like that before.
And it makes sense, though, because churros fall under, like, the realm of Mexican food. We're in Arizona, where the best Mexican food is outside of Mexico, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, it seems that we've got a really, really intelligent chef who came up with this concept, and Chef Michael Snoke. He's the guy that came up with the D-Bat, and we've got some other wow items that I can't give away, but that he's going to roll out later this year. And like I said, a lot of other really cool food announcements coming to the ballpark soon, and our entire merchandise experience. We've completely revamped all of our team shops. There's going to be lots of new cool things that are good for adults and hip for kids. So hopefully people will come out early in the season. We start up April 6th, and as you know, 81 home games. There's plenty of times to come out. The tickets are actually very, very affordable, and we're hoping everybody takes a peek.
You know, you talk about how it's really what is happening is trying to become a global phenomenon. And I think we're creating a lot of Diamondback fans around the world probably who are watching with our worldwide audience today, Josh. But in terms of, so you've got the walking into the ballpark, you've got all those different concession stands. People may not know, but out in, left field up high, there's a fully operating restaurant up there, 365 every day of the year.
Yeah, TGI Fridays, and it's funny actually. It's been here since the ballpark opened up. I remember coming out here back in the late '90s and stopping in when it was really the only ballpark in America that would have a true restaurant in there. But yeah, TGI Fridays is up there, and I think people it's a favorite spot for a lot of people because you've got this amazing view of the ballpark. And again, I think there maybe in the early years, the late '90s and early 2000s, right when we won the World Series. It may have been really, really impossible to get reservations. So I think there's still this belief that games sell out and you can't really get a spot. But we've been fortunate to find ways to make it available to all fans, and all they got to do is call in advance, try to book themselves a spot in there, and come check out a ball game while you're eating in a restaurant. And like you said, it's open. I mean, anybody who's eating downtown, who works downtown, you can just make your way down there as well. And here we're looking out over an empty ballpark in the middle of the afternoon on a Tuesday, and that's not a bad place to have lunch.
All right, Josh, thanks so much for taking the time out to chat with us. Really appreciate it. And keep us posted if Will does anything crazy at the Diamondbacks game today. That's at 2:10, right?
Yeah, I can pretty much guarantee it's going to happen. So I would say follow along at DBacks on Twitter is probably going to be your best bet. But I know MLB Network's going to be showing stuff all day long with live look-ins. So take a peek, and if you're tweeting, use the hashtag Ferrell takes the field. That's what everybody's using today.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Thanks guys.
Josh.
Take care.
That was fun. And we continue to watch live images of Will Ferrell on the field. This is so cool. We could just be streaming Will Ferrell all day. We might not even talk about the news. We could just watch Will Ferrell.
Yeah, because this is the part where he's got to warm up. He actually wants to look good. I mean, I think when it's bit time and it's skit time, he'll have fun with the audience. When he's actually out on the field with the other 8 guys,
right?
I think he wants to look good.
I mean, you don't want to be bad. You don't want to be a joke. He's been practicing the whole time. Let's just watch for a little bit. We're just going to sit here and watch. Oops. We're just going to watch Will Ferrell for a little bit with you guys.
His first ballpark is out in Mesa. That's where the Cubs used to play for years and years at Hohokam Park. It's an ancient Native American name here that stretches back centuries, if you're wondering where that name comes from. And last year, when the Cubs said we are going to be moving our whole operations to this beautiful new ballpark in Mesa called Sloan Park, it was a perfect opportunity. The Oakland A's said, "Hey, we'll jump at that. We will make that our new home." So out in Mesa, which is east of Phoenix, which is where I live, we now have 2 spring training teams out there, both the Oakland A's and the Chicago Cubs. And they're both big draws because we're so close to the Bay Area. And I'm telling you, this time of year, half of Chicago wants to come down to Arizona anyway and warm up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just updating this.
So I think I'm going to run into my meeting for a few minutes.
You're 13 minutes late. You're going to get in trouble. And while he does that, I'm just going to continue to be on Ferrell Watch with our viewers for a little bit.
I'll see you in a while.
All right, guys. This is Ferrell Watch. We're continuing to watch Will Ferrell on the field live here in Arizona. Right now, he is warming up at 12:05. He is going to be playing as the Seattle Mariners take on the Oakland Athletics. That's in about, an hour and a half or so. And we'll be streaming live for as long as we have the pictures come in. So for now, we will just be watching as Ferrell takes the field. Hashtag Ferrell takes the field.
Will! Let's see out there. Will! Yeah! What's up, guys? Ball? Are you giving me a ball? Big air, that's for the Mariners, man. Will! really big glove. Yeah. Nice.
You got it. Okay. These guys are looking at basically just hanging out in the clubhouse now for a couple of days. And we had an idea for. Yeah. There we go.
Can we not roll on this stuff, please? Can we not roll on this stuff, please? Pardon? Can we not roll on this stuff?
This is like private.
Part of my story?
Yeah, it's 14.
I jumped in. Yeah.
Now you can take the card off the first card.
Can we call and see if someone's there?
Good.